Hello and welcome back. If you haven't watched the video of Hammy's first show, is the last video that I posted, you might want to do that first because this is the follow-up video. So we used Hammy's first show as a test to see if we were going to take him to an A-rated show 2 weeks later, and we did decide to take him. And this is what we were doing in those 2 weeks prior to the show. If you grab him, I'll put a couple treats in here.
I'm gonna have a treat after I put his lead rope back on.
Oh, I like that. Good boy.
And he waits for me.
Good. I'm gonna put an apple in there next so he's like, oh, what's that?
I want him to stand and wait for me and then he gets.
I like that. Hammy has a pretty chilled out personality, and so you can see we had to work a little bit harder than he was to get him to free jump. And we would just make sounds and that would send him forward, but he, by no means were we pressuring him or anything like that, and giving him lots of rewards for just trying. I think the other thing that you can see is we're keeping our distance away from him because we want him to figure out where his legs are without us encroaching on his personal space. But I feel like if he was a hotter type, we wouldn't have had to have worked as hard. Hammy's just very chill, so we had to kind of work harder than he did, the silly guy. He rounded his shoulders. I'm gonna reposition. If he's gonna jump like that, I'm gonna reposition this camera.
I was gonna say we need a camera here to go to the side profile.
Well, now that he knows, I just gotta go through this grid. So I wasn't sure which jump he was gonna take before.
Yeah.
So you would have seen in the last vlog that Hammy went to that show. He was a really good boy. He was actually really well behaved for a young stud, given that there were so many kids and ponies and mares around. He was actually pretty good. But he really wasn't thinking of going forward enough. And so we had 2 weeks before this A-rated show, and we decided we were going to take him to the show, but we were not going to jump him. But in the meantime, we were still going to fix, kind of the holes of like, okay, so you're not going forward with a rider on your back. How about we free jump you so that you get to go forward without a rider on your back and feel what that feels like, and then put a rider on your back and then send you forward to the jumps. The other thing that we had to do is we had to take confirmation shots for his horse recording, is what they're called in Canada. And you can see here in this confirmation shot that he has a long sloping wither. So we started playing with different saddles and different saddle pad setups. And some of the saddle pad setups gave me a chair seat, others did not. So we spent these 2 weeks kind of addressing potential reasons why he wouldn't want to go forward. I ultimately think that we used these 2 weeks quite well. We still didn't, even though we weren't going to jump at the show, we didn't want to stop the training. So I think we did a really good job of coming up with a game plan to get him just one fitter, get his mind ready to go to the show, and really just address why he wasn't potentially going forward at that last show. So I think we spent a good 2 weeks problem solving, and we did solve a bunch of problems, so that was good. The horse show itself, this A-rated show that's coming up, it's also, it has hackneys, it has heavy horses, it has cows, it has so much to see and a rather large crowd that even though we're not jumping, that in itself is good training. He can see everything in a kind of chilled out way because we don't have to, run to get him ready to a class or anything like that. He only was going to have 2 classes that I ultimately cared about. There was a confirmation class that we were going to go do, and there was an under saddle class that I wanted to do, and I was pretty excited about. So just those 2 classes alone were enough of a reason to take him, even though we weren't planning on jumping. Problem solving is always so difficult because there's so many factors at play. One of the other factors for Hammy in particular is his growth plates were open for a really long time when he was 3 years old. So we had him x-rayed continuously when he was 3, and we worked with our vet to help strengthen his hind end when he was younger. But that was a factor when he was 3 years old. They're closed now, and he's ready to go forward. He also had a groin injury mounting a mare in the previous breeding season. So there was past reasons, and so some of this just could be learned behavior. But ultimately, at this point, you should know that we were strongly considering castration. And there was a couple different reasons, but we actually feel like his stopping and backing up, it's actually a stud behavior because he'll do it whether you're on his back or you're leading him around. He'll do it around mares, he'll do it by himself. But it's, as far as stud behavior goes, it's super safe. It's just super annoying. So we are kind of feeling if we castrated him, the strong thought was that would go away. The other pro for castration is we had already decided we are no longer going to do live cover. We were only going to do AI collection to get mares pregnant. And at that point, for us in particular, it didn't matter whether he was a stud or not, because we could collect off of him, freeze the semen, and he could live a better life as a gelding, because hopefully in the future one day he could get turned out with other horses and just live a more social life. And then that alone for us would be reason enough to geld. So at this point, we're just really considering our options, but we were leaning more towards gelding. Here we are back at the Keystone Center for day 1 of the horse show. And Ham's got off the trailer a little bit lit up. He was very happy to see other horses. I know he doesn't look quite lit up yet, but he does get a little bit more excited. But I mean, Hammy's version of excited. It's not other horses' version of excited by any means. But yeah, he just got a little bit pushy. And I think what did we do? We led him around the facility. First, we gave him a little bit of a lunge here.
All right. Watch yourself. Golf
Good
course.
job. There we go. Good boy. After we had lunged him and he could think a little bit better because he used up some excess energy, we took him for a walk around this enormous facility. And he'd never been here before. He's been to one part of this facility, but we were going to take him to the part of the facility he hadn't seen, which is the big main ring where the jumpers compete. But on the way to the big ring, there is a lot to see. To the left up ahead, the heavy horses and the hackney horses are stabled, and he's going to have to walk by carriages and all sorts of learning experiences to be had. So this is our first night walking around. Just shorten up your leader next to the little girl. Good boy. Maybe just stand still for a second while he passes. Thank you so much. He's just a baby, so he's just learning about all this stuff. Thank you so much. Good boy. Good boy. Can we walk down the hitching ring? Let's walk past those tractors. Good boy. Just keep your lead rope short there. Yeah. It's okay, baby. It's okay. Good boy. Well, let's go to the hitching ring and then come back. Okay. Perfect. And turn around and we'll come back. Good boy. Oh, you're so smart. So smart. Good boy. He wants to go with them. If he'll stand, let him stand maybe. I don't think he's ever seen a TV before. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey. Walk in one circle and we'll turn around and go back. There you go. All right, let's go back. Come on, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. This is the following morning, and this is the warm-up ring for the big ring. And the hunter jumper people, the hackney people, and the heavy horse people, we all had separate times to warm up in the big ring. And magically, we hit this sweet spot where the group before us, I think it was the hackneys, they didn't show up for their warm-up time. So we were able to lunge in this warm-up ring for the big ring and then go in the big ring all by ourselves. And for a young stud, the first time at the horse show, it was perfect. It was so nice not to have to worry about other horses being around and just have this experience where he could learn all by himself. I was thrilled. This is later on in the same day. I had a hunter over fences class that I planned on just walking in the ring, walking around the ring, and then walking out without actually jumping any of the hunter fences. Just I wanted him to go in the ring by himself and just have that experience. Told the judge before I did it what I was doing. And yeah, so before the class, I just walked him around in this bigger jumper ring. They hadn't even started for the day yet, so it was pretty much empty, and the hunter ring was super full. But he just walked around pretty much on a pretty loose, chilled out rein. He was such a good boy. He was having a really great experience at the show, like right up until this point, which I was thrilled about. This is now the morning of day 3, and it's kind of where the horse show took a bit of a turn as many people started breaking the rules, and there was actually a problem with the schedule. So in the past, the schedule was the young horse classes were held separately at the end of the day, but in this year they decided to run them throughout the day. And so I was not the only one who was going to have this problem. A lot of the people riding the 4-year-olds were a little bit upset in that the warm-up rings were just really, really busy for especially the 4-year-olds and the 5-year-olds, because we were mixed in with a lot of going horses and ponies. So that was, one of the things that created this day to be a bit unfair. But it started off early in the morning. So we started off the morning lunging. I was the first one in the ring. I had gotten there really early. And then this was a good thing. Another horse came in to lunge kind of at the back. And it was, I think that's probably a mare, I don't actually know. And Hammy got a little bit like happy to see her, which was great. It was like, oh, just get it out now, buddy. It's all good. This is the time to be doing that. And the problem happened. I'm not going to show like a lot of the bad stuff just because like people make mistakes and it's fine. But another horse came into the ring, and we have a rule that, you're not allowed to bring more than 2 horses into a warm-up ring at one time. And I did tell this person that, like, you can't bring this horse in there, but they did anyway. I didn't know the horse and I didn't know the rider. I didn't know the trainer, so I couldn't do really too much about it. But then this horse that came in went to the far back corner, so away from Hammy, which was good, but it started to go crazy. And so we got out of there. I don't want to be any part of horses going crazy around a young stud at his second show where he doesn't really know anything. That's just not fair to him. So I put him away. And then I knew that the 4-year-old under saddle class was coming up early in the morning because it was, I think, being run with the 2'6" group or just after it. And so I didn't really have a ton of time. So I brought him out to ride. And kind of the problem was he was being really sweet and like quite chilled out. But the steward came up to my husband, Justin, and said, "Which one is the stud?" And he was confused and he said, "Well, it's the black horse right there." And the steward said, "What's he doing?" He said, "Well, nothing. He's just he's green, but he's not doing anything." And so then the steward said, "Oh, somebody called me over." And so Justin told me this, and I said, "Well, if somebody's uncomfortable that a young stud is in here, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I don't really feel like it's fair that somebody feels uncomfortable because of him." So I got out of the ring. So I knew this class was coming up. So I brought him out to ride, but the ring was busy. So I waited 20 minutes to go back into this ring to get an actual warm-up in. And so we waited 20 minutes. We went in when it was quiet. And I kid you not, 14 people came into the ring. And in this small ring, that is just way too many. It was crazy. So Hammy started to get upset. I don't blame him. He started to not half, it wasn't even a rear, it's like half rear on the spot near the end gate because he doesn't really like that white gate. And so a fellow trainer thankfully said, "Everybody pull up, like let's let her get out of the ring." So I got out of the ring, and then I finally, I was frustrated by this point, and the horse was frustrated. I went to a steward and say, "Hey, listen, this day has it hasn't been good." And so I said, "There's supposed to be a rule of 6 people in this ring," and we counted, and there was 14 people in that ring. It was insanity. And so the steward said, "You know what? Let me stand guard. The ring is quiet right now. Why don't you go tack up? I'll let you in there and you can go ahead and ride him." So I did. So now this is my 3rd time taking this horse out of his stall to ride him. So he was just mentally, he was not super happy, but he was actually a pretty great boy. He was really sweet, pretty happy. But then when the under saddle class did actually start, he was having a day. He was revved up. He was on the muscle. He was not really showing himself off, which was too bad because this was the day that I was actually there to show and, to be competitive. And because of the morning events, that's horse showing in general. It's not super fun when that happens, but it does happen in that, people you know, like it's an emotional thing because you're super passionate about doing well, and you know, everybody's emotions get a little bit high, but myself included. Like I was upset, but I think I held myself together pretty well this day. But this is the day that I strongly said to Justin, we have to geld him because like if he's gonna be a show horse, and I just don't want that. It's almost like a handicap of you know, like you just have this extra big factor, especially when they're in the hunter ring in the lower divisions. Like when they get to the bigger divisions and the bigger shows, it's fine, but Manitoba doesn't really have like big venues. I mean, we have big venues, but they're not like, let's say, Alberta, where there's a lot of room, many different rings to warm up. The paths to the rings are not really small and condensed. So because we're planning on living in Manitoba and staying here, and we want a very safe place for everybody, we decided, you know what, I think we should geld. We'll collect as much as we can off of him so that we still have the babies, and you know, it'll be good. He'll live a happy gelding life. So this was the day that decision was made. So sometimes it's funny how like a bad situation can become like something good, and this is one of those situations where we just think that he's just going to live a better life. And then the frustration of this day actually worked out in our favor in the end. So there you go.
It's time to wake up now.
This was the last day of the show, and it was the young horse 4-year-old division jumper class, which we planned on just walking in and out of the ring just to show him what the crowd looked like and what the ring looked like with all the different colors of jumps.